I'm your host, Evangelist Delightful K, and I'm delighted to have this awesome vessel in the house with us today. But first, just a little bit of homework to get out of the way. I'm asking you out there listening to help us keep this vision going by donating. Please go to WYTV7.org and donate so that we can continue to help people's platforms go forward. This is a nonprofit show out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're grateful for our producers and all of those that are involved, but we need your help to keep this thing going. So we ask that you go forth and donate. Also, you can check us out on Facebook, Restoration Through Laughter, and just put a comment. Let us know if you've liked something that you've heard today or if something has inspired your heart. You can also check us out on YouTube, and we'll upload these, be airing these on Facebook as well. So please follow us and let us know how you feel about the show. So I'm not going to waste any more time, y'all. I'm going to introduce this awesome vessel, Miss Evangelist Alese Richardson, and author. So how are you today?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. It's such a pleasure to have great women of God on the show. So we're excited today because she's going to be telling us about her new book, y'all, and everything else that's been going on in her life. So let me just ask you, when you started to write, we're going to jump on in.
Okay.
When you started to write, what was the inspiration behind writing?
The inspiration behind my first book, which is called Anointed to Serve, Armor Bearer Necessities, was I had been an armor bearer for a few years. And during my current armor bearer season, I was sat down. And during that transition, it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about maturity, a lot about serving, whether you're in the forefront or not, and just being humble while serving. So that in my manual, I talk about, you know, the reasons why we serve. I talk about why you should cover your leader, how you should cover your leader, how you should be as a vessel in order to serve your leaders. And I give a little background of my testimony of how I actually got to the mature place that I'm in now.
Wow. So all of you out there listening, as you heard the woman of God say, that she was inspired to write this book out of something that happened in her life. And not only was there something that went on, she actually learned from it. So that's a great way to pretty much manifest what God wants to do in your life, is by learning life lessons and using them to help you along the way. So I just want to get into a little bit about your background. Could you tell us, like, how you grew up? Do you have any siblings, mom, dad? How did that go?
Yeah, I have a mom and dad. Well, as you see, my shirt says "Rejected with a Purpose," and a lot of my background comes from being rejected, and not necessarily by my mom or my grandparents. I grew up in a home with my grandparents and my mom. My mom was a teenage mother, and my father was not there. However, we have a beautiful relationship now, living a life of restoration through what all I've been through. And I'm excited to say that I have that father-daughter relationship that so many little girls long to have. And I'm appreciative of what it took me through, because God allowed me to learn through the process that I was rejected with a purpose. There was a reason why, although I had a father, he didn't allow him to father me through so many things. And so when I realized what God had in store for my life, and that my father might have distracted me from, because of him being a Baptist pastor, and I'm not in a Baptist church. So therefore, you know, where God was taking me, my father could have hindered.
Wow.
So rejection came with a purpose. And although I didn't understand it as a little girl, as a teenager, as a young mother, I understand it now that I'm in my 30s, that God knew, and he's always strategic about the things that he does in our lives. And it's so important that we trust him through all the processes, because otherwise, you know, he knows best.
Wow. So that's a mouthful. Everybody that's listening, if you're out there under the sound of my voice, I was fatherless for a while, but the woman of God used that, and she saw the cup half full instead of half empty. She sees that as God actually orchestrating what he needed to orchestrate for her to be at this place in her life right now. And sometimes we don't know what God has in that season for us. We don't know what it is that God is trying to do, and we may not understand it, but it's always purpose behind it. So as her shirt says, rejected with a purpose. Have you ever felt rejected by your siblings? Have you ever felt rejected by a loved one, anybody that you hold close to, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, and you don't understand why? Sometimes it's purpose. So I'm so excited today because your book, you're a two-time author now.
Yes.
You're on your second book. So hand clap out there in the and who's listening to us, her second book. So I'm so excited to be able to get that book, y'all. We're gonna tell you how you can get all this stuff at the end of the show.
Right.
And we'll show you a copy of it. And so I want to talk to you about after you went through that type of rejection from your father not being there, really your mom kind of, I won't say handing you off, but kind of the responsibility of your grandparents taking more responsibility to take care of you. And then later on, kind of her, being apart more. How did that affect you as far as ministry is concerned? Did it make you not want to be in ministry? Did it make you cling more to God? How did that help?
Well, as I stated, my father has been a pastor my whole life. And although he was not there for me, God had him ministering to others. I never questioned God because I was always taught by my grandparents, by my mother. Although she was young when she had me, she still, and my grandparents were like, you're not taking her. It wasn't her decision that, whether or not when she moved out, if I went. They were like, you're not taking her, she's staying here type thing. So I never felt rejected by my mom because my mom still did all she could, for me. She was always there. I mean, she had to make sure my hair was done. All of those necessities, I always had that relationship with her. However, as I grew up and when my grandfather passed away, I realized something is missing. When I would go to my friends' houses and I'm like, ain't no grandparents in their house. It's just a mom and a daddy. Where's my daddy? Where's my daddy? So, but it never made me question God. I never once. And I mean, I really think about that now. Like, why didn't I say, God, why is my family built different from others? And that's how I can always realize that there was something special about me even then, because God saw fit to give me a mama, grandparent. I had a daddy. I just didn't, have a relationship with him. I had all of this in one home, where some people just had those two parents.
Right.
So I counted it, now I can see it as a blessing. I was able to learn from because this was actually my great-grandparents. I was able to learn so much wisdom and knowledge from them. And they taught me how to fear and reverence God. And that is mostly why I probably never questioned God, why me? I never wanted to be a victim. I always wanted to say, if this is God's will, that's what I'm going to go with, because that's how I was taught, and that's how I was raised to make sure that, I don't question him, because he knows all and he's perfect. There's nothing that he does that's out of his will. So that's why today I can say, to God be the glory. For whatever I've encountered, whatever I've endured, whatever God has said concerning me as a person, as a woman of God, as a mother, as a wife, I can say that everything throughout my childhood has made me who I am today. Now, has it always been this way? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. But I'm happy that I have grown to the place to where I can say that I understand why. And it's not a hurtful thing. It doesn't bring me to tears that my father wasn't there, because he's here now.
Amen. So y'all, as we said it earlier, rejected with a purpose. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way. This is WYTV7 Christian Network Inc. Y'all, please, please, please let us know if you are enjoying what you're hearing on today. I just want to tell you guys that it is such an honor to talk about some things that are kind of taboo in the church, because a lot of people don't talk about actually feeling rejected or actually how they felt about some of the things they've encountered through childhood or adulthood. And today we're discussing being rejected with a purpose, meaning that some of the things that you're going to encounter out here, it may not be something that you understand, but as the woman of God said, God doesn't do anything out of his will. It is his will. So sometimes, even though it may be difficult, there is purpose in it. So we're discussing here, and we're in the building, if you just joined us, with none other than evangelist Alese Richardson, y'all, author 2 times, y'all. She's on her 2nd book, and we are talking about how everything came together for her to be in the place that she is now, walking and living with substance for Christ. So, woman of God, you wrote these 2 books, and I know that, you know, embarking upon just sharing your heart, I know there had to be an emotional part of that. So when you were writing, did you feel like it took you back to that place of some of the experiences?
I can say when I wrote the devotional, the Rejected with a Purpose devotional, it started out because I felt rejected by one of my friends. And it's, so I just started blogging is what I called it at first. I was like, I'm just going to make this blog. And then God said, no, I want it to be more. And so I said, okay, well, I'll turn it into a devotional, because each devotional entry is something about that I've encountered. But it's something that I learned from in the end. Although I felt rejected at one point in the blog post, at the end of it, God ministered to me to say, this is what really happened, or this is why this happened. And I believe that when I wrote the introduction and the conclusion, that was about my childhood. So it took me back to remembering why, you know, the things that I went through and why I went through them and why he wasn't there. Because of course I've talked to my father at this point, so I understand his part of the story at this point. But it did bring me to tears to write some of it, because some of it I've never shared with anybody, you know. And I'm like, okay, Jesus, you got me sharing my whole life with, you know, not my whole life, but an intricate part of my life with people who may know me or who may not know me. You know, what are they going to think? Okay, God, how is this going to allow my father to feel? And that, you know, that was my biggest concern. Okay, Jesus, how is my day? If we have a good relationship, I want to keep it that way. Right. So how is my father going to feel about me sharing these things that may not make him look like a great man, you know? But everybody, there's a, you know, we live and we learn. And I don't believe that he's the same man that he was 36 years ago. And neither am I the same little girl that I was 36 years ago. However, it did take me some processing. I mean, I wrote this months ago. Wow. You know, and some of the devotional entries were written last year. And so I was like, okay, God, your process. I'm going to put this out, but God, I have to process it all. Be okay with it. Be okay with somebody reading this, because I had to have somebody edit it. You know, I couldn't just.
They're going to be seeing it.
And I'm like, oh, Lord, these are the first people that are going to see it. But, Father, is this really what you want me to do? But that was most, you know, after getting through writing it. Okay, so God, I've written it, but do you really want me to put it back?
Gotcha.
You know, so
I just want to say, you know, that's a great point she brought up. Sometimes God will give us an assignment. And once the assignment is actually completed, and we have to go to the second stage of that, which is actually inviting others in to see what it is that God has assigned to us. Then, you know, sometimes the enemy can sneak in, or you know, that's really what it is. See, the enemy wants to stop and block us anyway. He wants to stop and destroy whatever it is that we have to minister to God's people. And see, God gave instruction for her to do this. So of course the enemy has to do his job and try to come and make you second guess or anything like that. But we thank God for obedience, and we thank God that she has definitely completed this work. Now it's available now for you to purchase. So I just want to, at this time, do something that we do on the show every time. And then we're going to find out some more about this woman of God and how you can actually reach her, have her come to your church and actually do some workshops, Y'all, she got some more that I'm going to get into. So that's why we're going to go to the second half and talk about some other things that this evangelist is doing. So I want for you to join me in inviting God into your heart. I'm going to pray, and I ask you, woman of God, to bow with me as we pray with the people of God. Dear gracious Father God, we come right now, God. God, boldly before your throne, God, asking for your forgiveness, God. God, for we know that we have sinned and fallen short, God. But God, you gave your life on Calvary, God, that we might be made whole, God. God, that we might be set free, God, and reconciled back to you, God. So, God, I'm saying right now, God, that I know I've fallen short, God. Please wash me up, God. Make me clean, God, a vessel that you can use, God. God, I want to be a living sacrifice for you, Jesus. God, I ask, Lord God, right now that you will come into my heart, God, and live there, God. God, I ask that you will wash my sin, God, from the crown of my head to the very soles of my feet, God. God, even the unknown sin, God, break it up, God. God, I pray that you will come in like a mighty rushing wind, God, that you will take over my life, God, and that I may fulfill your purpose, God. God, I thank you for what you're doing. I know that things are going to be greater with you, Lord God, and I thank you for allowing me to enter into the kingdom, God. So right now, God, I want you to give a hand clap for those who gave their life to God, because heaven just stopped right now for you. So if you're out there and you just gave your life over, we're rejoicing with you, man, woman of God, children, teenagers, whoever, because God is not a respecter of person. So we're rejoicing with you, and we thank you for giving your life over to Christ on Restoration Through Laughter. So y'all, we're going to jump back in with this awesome evangelist. Okay, so I hear Liberty told me that you have a catering business. Tell us a little bit about that.
I have a Blessed Events is an event planning business where I can plan your event, I can host your event, I can decorate your event, whatever your event needs, I can do it. And the Blessed Events is now 2.5 years old, and it started from my love of just decorating for my friends and their birthday parties. And somebody was like, Alicia, you got a knack for this. Like, you're so detailed and you're so, on it, and you decorate and you do all of this just for fun. Mm-hmm. And a woman of God came to me one day, and she said, God said he's going to use your skill to decorate and to organize and to plan as a business. And I was like, about doing it for no money, thought about, it was just something I enjoyed doing. Mm-hmm. But I am blessed that he saw fit to use my gift, something that I enjoy. It's important to do what you enjoy. So Blessed Events gives me that part of life that I enjoy. I enjoy making people's events come together. I enjoy seeing the final product of the decorations. It all comes together so well. And, whatever they need me to do, if they need me to stand there and collect pins for them, I'm going to do it. Whatever you need Blessed Events for, that's what Blessed Events is going to do.
Wow. So if you're out there, you're listening, you got a new event coming up. Look, this chick travels. Make sure you take care of her hotel, Lord, and her traveling expenses, and she'll be on her way. But you'll definitely have a great experience with Blessed Events. So she's going to tell us later on in the show how you can reach her to either decorate, to do a workshop. This lady is on the move, y'all, setting fire everywhere she goes. So I'm so excited to have her be a part of Restoration Through Laughter on today, and giving you nuggets of how to be rejected with purpose. Because even though she went through such a great rejection in the beginning of her life, and even in her adulthood, God had purpose on that thing. You heard me, I said on that thing, because God purposed things in her to her hand, and she is actually chasing and actually walking it out, and it is coming to life for her. So I just want to encourage you out there, if you have a dream, do it now. Go ahead and get started. I had a show, a couple of shows back, we talked about getting started with what you have. Sometimes you just have to start. I've had the pleasure of being at a couple of her events, and it's gorgeous. I mean, she is very phenomenal how she does every I, honey, dotted, every T crossed. Okay, a spirit of excellence. So I'm so excited to have, I'm going to say my sister, because she is my sister, here with me today and sharing her platform and how God has turned her life around, restored her with a laugh. Because as you see, we've been laughing. Right. Even though she's been telling some stories that really kind of might seem sad, God gave her joy back. And that's what Restoration Through Laughter is about with WYTV7. We want to help you share those stories that have given you back your joy, regardless of whatever it is that you went through. We like stories of restoration here. So let's talk about a little bit about your church home and how you transitioned, because you said that in the beginning there was this type of church, and now I know that you go to a non-denominational church from your bio, that you go to the Open Door Ministries under Apostle Angela and David Holloway. So how did that change you from going from one type of ministry to the next?
I started off in a Baptist church, and I grew up, Baptist until I was 12. And a part of my book will tell you that my mom transitioned. When I transitioned to my mom's home as a teenager, we went to a non-denominational church, and then we moved to an apostolic church, and now I'm back at a non-denominational church. So I have learned so much. I've learned what to do and what not to do, and I've learned how different denominations take one thing out of the Bible and they make a whole big religion, around it. And so I've come to realize that my relationship with God is better than any religion could ever be. So I'm grateful for my leaders. I've learned so much from them. My pastor, who I call Mom, she wouldn't say, she says, I didn't necessarily birth you into ministry, but I helped groom you into ministry. And I am so grateful for what they've done and how they've pushed me into being the woman of God that I am, because, a lot of things that I do, even speaking to you tonight, would not be done if they had not saw something, even something small in me to push me to go forth to do what it is that God has assigned me to do.
Wow. So that was a really great answer that she gave, right? So great. I know that, there is a lot of religiosity in the world. People are not connected to Christ. And as she said, people don't have relationship. And when you don't have relationship, it causes a strain where things that you're supposed to do should be easy, then they're hard because you don't know what to do. You didn't get the information for yourself. So it's great that you brought that up, because once again, another thing that's taboo in the church. There's so many religious things. You should wear your skirt this long. You should not wear no makeup. You shouldn't cut your hair. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. But people are not reading the word. So they're not realizing that when God gave his life, some things transitioned. See, when he went to Calvary, some of those things that we were under before he gave his life, they were lifted. So I just thank God for you bringing that up, because a lot of people are sitting under leaders and sitting in certain church settings, and nothing against wherever you are, but you need to learn and get the information for yourself. You need to be groomed in the things of Christ, and you need to know how to connect to a relationship with God, so that you know that no matter what happens, you got relationship. And so when he splits the sky, he's going to say, hey, daughter, hey, son. He's not going to say, I don't know you. So, it's so important that we make sure that we put into practice building that relationship with God, meaning spending time in your word, meaning spending time on your face, praying before the Most High, not because you're at church and people can see you, but in a secret place, making sure that you fast, that you're turning down your plate, turning down whatever it is that's your favorite thing, Facebook, your phone, your cell phone, looking at TV, whatever it is. Me, juice. I'm a juice girl. I like to drink a lot of juice, y'all. She knows that about me. I'm a juice girl. But I actually fast from juice because it is one of my things that I like. And so it's me giving my God, a sacrifice, and saying that I'm not going to do this for this amount of time because it's something that I enjoy, but I'm going to honor you, God, and I'm not going to do it for 2 days or 3 days or however long I end up fasting. Another nugget while we're talking about fasting, I hate to get off of that. I just have to say this, have to be obedient. If you are fasting, you do not tell anybody that you're fasting, right? Okay? That's not for the world to know. It's between you and God and whatever agreement you've made with your Father. So as we jump back in, it is definitely going to delight having you on. I've enjoyed myself, y'all. And I'm going to share a little bit of a nugget with you guys. Like I always say, a lot of the guests that come on, we have things in common. And I told you at the beginning of the show that I didn't have my father. And I just want to let everybody know that just like you've restored your relationship, so have I. And it's such a great feeling, isn't it, to have that mother, that father-daughter dynamic? Because every little girl wants to be a daddy's girl. Right. So let me ask you about that before we get out of here and you tell them how they can contact you. How has that relationship changed your life? Because I know that having my dad it makes me feel better as a person, and I do things different now.
My relationship with my father helps me twofold, because he's a pastor, so he helps me in things of the ministry. And because, you know, there are some things that he does that I agree with, and some things he does that I don't agree with. So it teaches me basically to study to show myself approved, so that, you know, when we are having those conversations, that I can say, Daddy, this is what the Bible says. Those type things. And it helps me, as it healed that little girl on the inside of me. My relationship with him now made me whole as a woman. And not that I was just, you know, broken to the point of no return, that if I never restored my relationship, that I would be just fragile. But it completes, it's that puzzle piece that was missing. And so therefore I feel whole and I feel complete. And I, you know, when I see my daddy, sometimes it's almost like, not like I melt, like, oh my God, you know, but that's my daddy, you know, and I'm excited to be in his presence. You know, we bump heads because I think we're a lot alike. We're a lot alike. We bump heads. But one thing we've learned is to love and respect each other, because our relationship started in my adult life. You know, we had to learn a reverence and respect for each other. And once we got that dynamic, it is something so beautiful.
Wow. So, you know, thank you for sharing. I am so excited for what God is doing in your life. All of the ministry that's breaking out, the opportunities, the doors that he's opening. I always, almost every time, say something about God doors when I'm on the show, because it is so important that you recognize if the door is for you, if the door is a God door. But God is definitely doing just that for this awesome evangelist, Alese Richardson. He has birthed 2 awesome books out of her. She has a awesome event planning business and much more. She's over a lot of the things at her church, reading a little bit of your information that you sent me, knowing that she is keeping her hand to the plow, because the word says to work while it's day, because at night no man can work. So I'm so excited to get the information out there to them. Could you tell us how you can come and do some workshops, Sugar? How you can come and actually preach, y'all, because this woman preaches as well. I said evangelist, okay? So evangelist to evangelist, right? We preach too. So you can get this awesome young woman to come to your church to preach, do a workshop, show you how to be a great armor bearer, which she is, show you how to be a great event planner, which she is, show you how to be a great person all around, because that is exactly what we have before us. Let us know how we can contact you.
My contact information, my name is Alese Richardson. My phone number is 864-517-2685. You can email me at ladyricardson2010@gmail.com. My name on Facebook is Alese Richardson.
All right, y'all. So you got her information. There's no excuse not to call her. If you need your event plan, go ahead and reach out to this awesome woman of God. Y'all, I'm so excited, and we are coming up on the end of the show. So if you had something you could say to encourage the people that feel like they are going through such a great rejection and don't understand, what would you say?
Give it to God. And because God knows each and every person. And he knows that person that you feel like is rejecting you just as well as he knows what you're going through. And sometimes God removes people for a reason, for a season, for a set time, for a lifetime. You know, it just depends on the situation. It depends on the person. We have to trust God. Trust him in every situation. Trust him in every circumstance, knowing that God cares about everything that concerns us, knowing that God is going to orchestrate everything concerning our lives, and that he's going to move in every situation that we're faced with. So when you feel rejected, I always go to God. No matter what, you know, you can always cry to God, because he's going to listen to you, and he cares about every tear that you drop from your eyes. So go to God, pray about it, give it to him, allow him to fix it, because you can't fix it. Because, you know, there's so many times that we try to work things out on our own way. But God has a way that's mighty sweet. And his way is better than our way.
Wow. So as she said, y'all, you can't work it out. Give it to God. And never say never. You never know what seasons you're going to roll through. And you may feel like, okay, well, like she said, a person can leave for a season, forever, for whatever it is that God is saw fit to do. But trust him in it, because he knows the end from your beginning. So he knows what the situation is, even when we can't see the whole picture. He already knows. I want to thank each and every person who has joined in to hear us on today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting Restoration Through Laughter. Again, you can check us out on Facebook. You can also go to YouTube. You can go to WYTV7.org and donate. Also, let us know how you enjoyed the show. It is definitely always my honor to be before you. It's your girl, Delightful K. Y'all, as always, be blessed.